I want to wish everybody a good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for tuning in. It's Lil Kenny Russell, Kanum Kansu Moon. That's the name that I took from the ancestral understanding, the ancient Egyptians, which is our ancestors. Uh, we're all descendants from the ancient Egyptians. If you know your history, if you don't, I mean, you should look into it. We're descendants of the greatest people to ever walk the planet. Um, the highest level of civilization, the highest level of literacy, understanding the cosmos. I mean, you name it. These people were unmatched. So we're going to continue on with Religion Develops Insanity. This is the third installment. I want to thank you for coming along with me for the first two. If you haven't watched it, I give you the same warm welcome. Um, I just here to cause awareness, really. I'm not here to take anything away from people. I know some people might be up under understanding that I might be some sadist or some devil worshiper, atheist. I don't know. I'm none of that. I'm just letting you know inside of religion, God is a man. And I got plenty of things to prove how idiotic these understandings are. It is, come on, man. It's just, it's nonsense. So I'm gonna show you some slides. I'm gonna be briefly running you through the slides so you can get a better understanding of exactly what I'm talking about. Let me pull my monitor up, make sure I'm live. Okay, I'm up, my monitor up. So this is the third installment. I'm gonna be reiterating a couple of the slides that I did last week as far as Noah's Ark, the Ark of the Covenant. The reason I'm going to reiterate is because I want to bring you back up to speed on what we're doing last week, and then it's little parts of the story that's associated with it that I'm gonna use for this lecture. So I'm going to be showing you that. I'm going to share my screen now so you can see the slides, and let's rock. Now, as I said, we're going to do the third installment of Religion Develops Insanity. This is part 3. So, religion develops insanity as well as confusion. When anyone embraces a religion of any kind, you have for the most part enabled your thinking. So you do not have to think, so you don't. This is a quote. This is what I like to deal in. Facts. This is a quote from Walter Williams, master teacher, elder. I want to always pay homage to master teachers. Walter Williams, definitely. Dr. Yosef Ben Yakinen and Dr. John Henry Clark. Um, and that's the three that's on Mount Rushmore. For me, that was a Mount Rushmore of the people that taught me. I would carve them up there and make my own Mount Rushmore. Beautiful gentlemen, and a lot of the stuff I speak is from the elders, and I wouldn't have it no other way. I do my own research on top of what they already brought to the table, and I try to bring that information to you. So this is a quote from Dr. Walter Williams. Facts, which are stronger than argument, more profound than reasoning, more dependable than opinion, silences disputes, supersedes predictions, and facts always end the arguments if you know the facts. Again, unless you are talking to a fool. A fool is somebody that know everything, and he's not going to let you allow you to give him facts while he's standing there with his belief and his faith. So, I mean, a person have to be able to take a fact, and that is what it is. But a lot of times they so stuck in religion, the fact is what they say it is. But let's continue. Now, this is what some of the things I want to reiterate. This is the Ark of the Covenant, said to have so much power you can't look at it, or in the biblical doctrine itself. And I showed you that on the last one, part 2. The Lord killed 50,000 men just for looking at it, glancing at it, being curious and trying to see what it was. But you see these 2 men here venerating and praying in front of it. So, I mean, does it kill you when you look at it, or can you stand all in front of it and pray to it? Because these men here, and then in a story, like I said, with Uzzah, it's other men around. So we're going to go back. This First Chronicles 13, 9, and 10 in the King James. When it came to the threshing floor of Shidon, Uzzah put out his hand to hold the ark because the oxen nearly upset it. The anger of the Lord burned against Uzzah, so he struck him down because he put out his hand to the ark, and he died before the Lord. He died before God, the same thing. So what I wanted to bring this back for and reiterate these things are, a guy went out to help the Ark of the Covenant. As you see here, there's people here, there's more gentlemen or women here. It's pretty sure it's gentlemen. There's a gentleman here, and these stampeding animals came by and almost knocked it over. So this guy Uzzah, he took his hand and was going to make sure it didn't fall because it was so precious. He didn't want nobody disturbing or breaking the Ark of the Covenant, and God struck him down. Now, I said my old pastor, he preached this from the pulpit, and I was telling the truth. I was present when he preached it. With this understanding, what they're saying is you cannot help God. God doesn't need anybody's help. But at the same time, I'm reiterating this because, one, you can't help God, and he strike you down if you touch it, and 50,000 men that look at it. But it's people here. That's all around. They was looking at him when Uzzah got struck dead. So it's God that they make up. He can execute and use his power whenever he decides to. But it's always about an innocent person. Seem like this God execute right on demand. I know Jesus, they said the story and tradition, he came into the world to die, but couldn't he destroy or just like he did this person, execute the people that beat him? You don't have to go through all that beating. We know he came to die for salvation if we stay under the tradition and the story, but you can execute and kill all the man that beat him. So, I mean, you have to see he has power in some senses, but he don't have power against the right people that he need to have power against. It's just you have to be insane, and this stuff develops insanity. That's what we're talking about. Now, it's the King James Version. You cannot help God. I come here again. I'm running off this slide because you cannot help God. That's the understanding of this. God don't need anybody help. But you come here, now we're going to deal with tithes and offerings. You can't help God trying to just be noble and help him with any other thing other than finances. Yeah, take your help then. King James Version, Numbers 18:28. Thus ye also shall offer and have offering unto the Lord all your tithes which you receive of the children of Israel, and ye shall give them. You shall give therefore the Lord's heave offering to Aaron the priest. And Aaron was accused of stealing in the Bible, if I'm not mistaken. Aaron is Moses' brother. Moses was they was after Moses for murdering one of the Pharaoh's men in the story and tradition. And Aaron supposed to had stole some stuff. So Aaron was a thief, but you're supposed to give all the offerings to the Lord, to the priest Aaron. So, I mean, was Aaron going to take him the bag of money? And then when you go give all your money to the Lord at the church, is your imam, is your rabbi, is your pastor going to take the money right to Jesus or God? So again, you can't help them, but you can pay them all your tithes and offering, and it's in the Bible, so they can continue to exploit your finances. This is the same verse in the New Living Translation. You must present 1/10 of the tithe received from the Israelites as a sacred offering to the Lord. This is the Lord's sacred portion. This is 10% of your whole earthly wages is the Lord's sacred portion. This is what they want you to believe, so you can keep on being a zombatic follower of religion and just continue to get exploited from your exploited financially through these religious understandings. You must present it to Aaron the priest. Again, a thief. So this is insane. You must be insane to really think that this is God writing this stuff down. This is a man. These are men. They wrote this stuff down so you can continue on to pay religion and all that type of stuff. Then they have more scripture. This is Malachi 3, 8, and 10, and the New King James Version. So this is where it comes from when they say, well, a man robs God. They use this in the church too. So they can put this in your face as some sign of guilt that you're not really paying your offerings. You haven't been tithing like a person's supposed to that's devout in these religions. So they put this in your face, you have some type of guilt. And then they go on and say, hey, well, a man robbed God. So let's read this. This is Malachi 3, 8, and 10, a New King James. If you don't have that, you can go to King James or you can go on the internet and pull it up. Well, a man robbed God. Of course, the person say, nah, I'm not going to rob, because they just pump fear into you and guilt. Yet you have robbed me. But you say, in what way have we robbed you? Listen to this now. In tithes and offerings. You are cursed. This is God cursing people. Gods don't curse. And what I mean, he's not talking about no foul language. Curse like you going to be sick or you going to have this. You ain't going to have no money. I curse you. You are cursed. You are cursed with a curse, for you have robbed me. This is God talking. Even the whole nation. You going to curse the whole nation because you ain't paid him his money. But I ask you, who can go take it up to him? Bring all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. What is God needing all this money and food and all this stuff for in heaven? And try me now in this, says the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour out for you such a blessing that there will be no room, that there will not be room enough to receive it. So he said, bring me all the tithes and offering and try me. This is God saying, and try me. If you try this, see how big I give you. See how big of a blessing I give. The blessing, I open the window of heaven, and the blessing be so big you can't hold it in your pocket, your house, nowhere you at. Your bank account won't even get it fitted. But I ask you, excuse me, have you seen anybody receive a blessing this big, aside from hitting the lottery or some things of that nature? I haven't seen somebody be so blessed that this folklore, this fictitious person of the Bible has given them so much they can't even hold it in the house or bank or pockets, nothing that you can't even hold it. So I know some people that, if you want to use, we just use the word blessed, but I haven't seen it just come from out of nowhere because you're a great tither and offerer. I haven't seen that, and neither of you. This is the same one in the New Living Translation. This breaks it down to layman's terms, Malachi 3, 8, and 10. Should people cheat God? Like I say, they say, no, we won't cheat you. Yet you have cheated me. But you ask, what do you mean? When did we ever cheat you? You have cheated me of tithes and offerings, just like the last one. That's due to me. This is God. You are under a curse, for your whole nation has been cheating me. You won't pay me. It's like the IRS. You won't pay me now. I'm gonna curse you. Bring all the tithes into the storehouse, so there will be enough food in my temple. If you do, says the Lord, heaven's armies, I will open the windows of heaven for you. I will pour out a blessing so great you won't have enough room to take it in. Try it. Put me to the test. This is a man speaking for God, acting like this is God. Put me to the test, see how much I can just, I'll give you so much. I open up the windows of heaven. Who is saying this stuff? This cannot be a person writing from heaven talking about, if you try tithe and offering real good, you'll see, so we'll open a little bit of the window and let it pour all that. Man, come on now. You have to really understand that you have developed some sort of insanity and you take this to be real. This is not actual. This is not actual fact. This is not actuality, period. None of this has nothing to do with human history. It's not historically correct, and it's none of this stuff is real. It's a figment of your imagination. Now, if they say that it's metaphorical and symbolic meanings to this stuff, then I accept it. But if you're talking about these are people and this stuff happened in human form, you have developed insanity. But I'm here for you. I'm trying to help you out. I'm here for your awareness. So, your superior awareness at that. Now, there go another idiotic understanding, and I would call him a fool. This is King David. I dealt with King Solomon last week, but David is his father. This is a man that's so-called after God's own heart. Look at this. He's sitting there asleep, and he's doing something with a knife. This is crazy. God said this man is after my own heart. What type of God is this? So now we're going to read a brief amount of information on David. David was an ancestor of Jesus Christ, the Messiah, who was often called the son of David. This is irate. Perhaps David's greatest accomplishment was to be called a man after God's own heart by God himself. So who said that God said, hey, David is a man after all my... Who heard God say something like this? You see what I mean? But I know who heard God say something. The person that took their pen out and wrote this up, that's who heard him. Even though God always offers forgiveness, we cannot escape the consequences of our sin. Listen to this, because David was nothing. You're just trying to make him a big person because he's known for slaying Goliath. He was a murderer, a rapist, amongst many other things. The consequence of our sin. David's life proves this, but God highly values our faith in him. Despite life's ups and downs, the Lord is ever present to give us comfort and help. That's what people want. They want that little, when you lose a tooth, the tooth fairy give you a couple dollars, put it up under there. When you see a shooting star, you wish for a Rolls Royce, shooting star, but you never get it. This is what people want, grown people, which need to get out of this. I live up under the African proverb that say, what you say today and or what you do today, tomorrow you pay. So I understand that. I'm a sinner as well. I've committed a lot of sins. I curse on a daily, but these are understandings of very modern and Western type of sins. And I'm no better than everybody else. I'm just a man, but this foolishness needs to stop. People want this book to comfort them because that's all it is. And none of these characters are real. But you want to go to sleep and say, oh, I did a whole lot of stuff, but God, he gonna forgive me. As long as I got faith in him, despite life's ups and downs, as long as I got faith in him, I think I'm gonna make it in. See, that's folklore. That's a lie. Now listen to his weaknesses. This is King David. God himself, with this same understanding, I go back. God himself, right here. A man after God's own heart, by God himself. God himself said, this man after my heart. He's a poor judge of character, God. God is a poor judge of character if we stay in tradition. But God is a man, so I mean, come on. That's what can you expect? Men have poor judge of character a lot of times. Weaknesses of King David. King David committed adultery with Bathsheba. And this should say rape as well. He then tried to cover up her pregnancy, and when he failed, he had her husband Uriah the Hittite killed. Listen to this. This supposed to say this, look like there was perhaps the greatest transgression of David's life. When he took a census, another thing he broke. This is man after God's own heart. He broke God's rules and commandments of the people. He willfully violated God's command not to do that. King David was often lax or absent as a father. This is a man after God's own heart. He did blatantly do what God don't say. Took a census. God said don't take a census. Committed adultery. Had one of his men friends killed because he got her pregnant when he raped her, and he tried to He go on, try to get her, hey, go, come on home, man, I'll give you a break. Go sleep with your wife. The man didn't sleep with his wife, Uriah. So after he figured out, well, I can't trick him to, have sex with her, act like it's his child. So he put him to death. He was often lax or absent as a father, not disciplining his children when they needed to. All they're supposed to say is he wasn't a good father. But this is a man after God's own heart. Horrible judge of character, this book God, because that's all it is a book God. This is a God of literature that men put together. Okay. Now this is 2 Samuel 11:2 in the King James. This goes on to show some of the things that David did. This is a rape, just like his father when he raped Bathsheba. And you can look at that last week. He goes on and he invited her to a festival, give her hot food, and she go and get some water. And he said, since you took some water from me, you must lay with me. Basically a rape. So you can look at that on the last lecture, part 2. And it came to pass in evening tide that David arose from off his bed and walked up on the roof of the king's house. And from the roof, he saw a woman washing herself, and the woman was very beautiful to look upon. And David sent and inquired after the woman, and one said, is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Elam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? And David sent messengers and took her, and she came in unto him, and he lay with her. This is by force. He raped her. She was purified from her uncleanness, and she returned into her house. And the woman conceived and sent and told David and said, I am with child. Now, after he rapes her, she come and said, hey, I'm pregnant. So this when David, in his mind, he hurried up and sent for Uriah, and they go get him, and Uriah didn't even go home. He slept at his doorstep, they say, and he asked why he didn't go home and sleep with your wife. So when he couldn't hoax him into sleep with his wife so the baby can look like it was his, he put him to death. But this is a man after God's own heart, the book God, because he can't be talking about no understanding of the universal creator that I'm talking about. This is the same one in the New Living Translation, layman's terms. Late one afternoon, after his midday rest, David got out of his bed and was walking on the roof of the palace. As he looked out over the city, he noticed a woman of unusual beauty taking a bath. He sent someone to find out who she was. He was told she is Bathsheba, daughter of Elam, and the wife of Uriah the Hittite. Then David sent messengers to get her. When she came to the palace, he slept with her. She had just completed the purification rites after having her menstrual period. Then she returned home. Later, when Bathsheba discovered she was pregnant, she sent David a message saying, I'm pregnant. This is Bathsheba. And this is a life lesson that goes along with the story. It says that it's trying to justify this foolishness of these King David, because King David was the most prestigious king ever until his son Solomon. Let's see. Women had few rights in ancient times. What ancient times? Because if you go back further than this, in ancient times, Africans had gods. They women were gods. So this is all incorrect, but this is from the understanding of a European. This is what you need to know. European is saying this stuff, and he created your God, which is nobody. Women had few rights in ancient times. When King David summoned Bathsheba, she had no choice but to sleep with him. This is a rape. After David had her husband murdered, she had no choice when David took her for his wife. She had no choice. Despite being mistreated, now he mistreated her all the time, she learned to love this fool, David, and saw a promising future for Solomon. Often circumstances seem stacked against us, but if we keep our faith in God, we can find meaning in life. God makes sense when nothing else do. You sure do. God makes sense to a fool if you have this understanding of the God. Because I already showed you the men after God heart and all the stuff that this God do, kill innocent people for looking at an Ark of the Covenant. Yeah, okay. Then David commanded his wife Bathsheba. He confronted his wife Bathsheba, I'm sorry, and he went to her, made love to her. She gave birth to a son, and they named him Solomon. The Lord loved him. The Lord loved another rapist. The relationship between Bathsheba and King David did not begin well, but she later became his loyal wife and mother of King Solomon, the wisest ruler of Israel. Wise, but that should say dumb. David forced Bathsheba to commit adultery, this is sad, with him while her husband Uriah the Hittite was away at war. When she became pregnant, David tried to trick Uriah into sleeping with her, so it would look like the child was Uriah's. Uriah refused. David then plotted to have Uriah sent to the front lines of the battle and abandoned by his fellow soldiers. Uriah was killed by the enemy. After Bathsheba finished mourning Uriah, David took her for his wife. But David's action displeased God, and the baby born to Bathsheba died. So Bathsheba bore David other sons, most notably Solomon. God so loved Solomon that Nathan the prophet called him Jedidiah, which means beloved of Jehovah. I want to come back to this. Noah's Ark, another idiotic understanding. People find this stuff to be real. They think this stuff is correct. That if it was no Noah's Ark and Noah repopulate the whole planet and things of that nature. I told you that the water was 15 cubics, which is 30 feet, but 15 cubics is 22 and a half feet. So again, you can see them on rocks and stuff like that. It can't even go past rocks. This is very low water. And the thing about this, I wanted to bring back up and reiterate this story because he goes along, this God telling him to bring 7 of everything. If he couldn't find 7 of everything, to bring 2 clean ones. But he brought 7 of everything. 2 clean ones, or if they was unclean, he'd bring just 2, I believe. And if they was clean, he'd bring 7. So it got all this stuff in this little ark. 8 people and all the human mankind. I don't even know what these birds are doing. But yeah, I do, because he only took 2 or 7 if he can find them clean. So everything on earth is in here. The guy, he got mad, he killing out the rest of human life in existence. But it's 8 people inside this small ark, and every animal known to man. 7 of them if there's clean, 2 of them if there's unclean. Impossible. Again, another idiotic story that you develop insanity to believe and keep on praying to this Jewish European Jesus. Now, this is how this weird God that they just said right here, no matter the circumstances, if you keep faith in God, that you always have some meaning in life and all that type of stuff. God makes sense when nothing else do. Okay, so they talking God in here, they talking about this God of the Bible. So you see this God don't make no sense, but it makes some sense to them. He told Noah and his sons to gather up all this stuff now, all these animals and all that stuff. So he was acting like some old horny man. Couldn't wait till they stopped the ark, or 40 days of rain. And once it rained, he told them, hurry up, let them couple of birds out and bring the rest of the stuff to me. Let 2 of everything out, insects, all that. Bring the rest of that stuff to me. Make me an altar and burn all the rest. Millions of animals. This is weird. God talking about burn some offerings to me and kill all this stuff. As soon as Noah came out from the ark, he built an altar to the Lord. He took 1 of each kind of ritually clean animal and bird and burned them whole as a sacrifice on the altar. This is sad, but this God told him to do this in biblical scripture. Soon as he parted, he said, go get all that stuff. Just let two apiece out. Bring me everything else and burn it up to show me how much you love me. Kill it. This is sad. And this is a sick God. This is not God. I can continue to tell you this each week, but I'm showing you this is not God. This is no God. This is a book God. And the people that wrote it were sick Europeans. Let's continue. Look at this. They even got children. They teach this stuff in Sunday school and all that. They even got children a part of this stuff. Look at this. Build me an ark and all that other stuff, an altar. So look, this supposed to be firewood. He burning animals whole, but we know it was no giraffes in there. So again, this is an idiotic story anyway, but they teach children this stuff like a nursery rhyme. This is a satanic story for fools that agree with death and burning of animals and anything else, talking about sacrificing it to the Lord. I don't want none of this, Lord, and I won't sacrifice nothing to the name of a satanic European worship type of Lord. The face of this stuff is a Jewish man, a European man named Jesus. Oh, Jesus had feet of bread. They try to change it all around. We know what this is about. You know the depiction, the first depiction ever of Jesus is a European Jewish man. Well, let's continue. It's sick. Got kids making altars and stuff and burning up animals. Trying to stay into this story. Look at this. Burning animals whole like it's on wholesale and just making a nice gesture towards this so-called God. Man, stuff, y'all can have this stuff. And the Lord smelled a sweet savor. After he told him, get all that stuff off, build me an altar and burn it all up. This Lord loves the sweet smell of death. This is sick. This is sad. This is a sick understanding for sick people. But you can go ahead and continue to have some Christian type of belief that this is real. This is sick. And if it was real, which is not, then you're sick anyway to believe that these people are righteous, especially this God. Genesis 8:21. And the Lord smelled a sweet savor. And the Lord said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground anymore for man's sake. For the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I again smite any more everything living as I have done. This is Lord acting like he forgive his own self. I won't do that again. I won't burn everything up and kill everybody no more. A man is born already with evil in his heart. Another lie. But I won't do that no more. This is this God now. He almost repenting for this, but he God. He ain't got to explain that to nobody. So here it is. Then Noah built an ark. This is the same thing, but New Living Translation, layman's term. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and there he sacrificed as burnt offerings the animals and birds that had been approved for that purpose. This is sad. And the Lord was pleased with the aroma of the sacrifice and said to himself, I will never again curse the ground because of the human race, even though everything they think of or imagine is bent toward evil from childhood. Listen to this stuff. I won't kill everybody again, even though every person has ever been born or is ever going to be born. Their imagination is bent toward evil from childhood. This is that original sin. Like I showed you, the baby was given Eve the apple out of the tree, but they told you it was a serpent, but the same thing. The child is looked upon as a devil with this understanding, because the original sin means as soon as you're born, you thinking of sin. You were born in sin. So this is what this is saying. You're not going to kill anybody no more, even though everything they imagine is bent towards evil from childhood. I will never again destroy all living things. This is God. I messed up. I won't sound like a crackhead. He sound like an old junkie crackhead that want a beer. I drank all them beers last week, but you know what? When I get my new 6-pack, I ain't gonna be that crazy with this 6-pack. I'm gonna drink 1 beer a day. Last time I drank all 6, all 24 in one day. I'm not gonna do that no more. This is a foolish understanding for if you don't have the righteous understanding of this stuff and you take this is a foolish understanding for foolish people. And I'm not calling anybody a fool, but that's a hard fact, and that's just what this is. So let's continue. Now we're going to go into prayer. This is how you're going to see what is going by. Say some people pray and they try to make their prayer be so seen. They turn it almost into like a movie or a motion picture or some sitcom. When they pray, they turn into some chauvinistic event that it takes God out of it. So we're going to deal with prayer in the Bible. So Matthew 6:5-13 in King James says, and when thou hast prayed, thou shalt not be as the hypocrites are, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and in the corners of the streets, that they may be seen of men. This is saying when people pray, they want to, don't pray like the hypocrites, want to just be seen praying and venerating his name. But this is what every church is about. Every Christian church want to be seen, and a parishioner and church member and congregant want to be seen running across the whole steeple. Say, what's wrong with her? Oh, she got the Holy Ghost. Then the next person, oh, she got it. Then he runs. It turned to an acting contest. Oh, what happened? He fell out. Oh, I fell out too. This is what happens every single Sunday. You watch it, and them sisters get up there and scream, oh, and you scream, yeah, the Lord. You don't know what's going on, but you think if you mimic what they doing, that you just as holy as them. When nobody in there have no understanding of what they're doing. So it said, it may be seen of men. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward. But thou, when thou prayest, enter into the closet, into thy closet. And when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father, which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. But when ye pray, use not vain repetitions as the heathen do, for they think that they shall be heard for their much speaking. Be not ye therefore like unto them, for your Father knoweth what things you have need of before you ask. So this God know everything you thinking, and he know all your needs before you ask. If you stay up under this understanding, that would be a lie, because if you see here, I go back, this God didn't even know that they would populate giants before this flood story. The reason he killed everybody because they start populating giants on the land, and he didn't know that. So this guy said, I would never destroy it all again, but he still under understanding that people going to be evil as soon as they born. They're going to think nothing but evil thoughts as soon as they born. That's what this God is saying. And if you know the tradition, the reason the flood came because all men were thinking evil thoughts and they start populating giants. So if he knew that, I mean, it would be a different story. If he knew that, he would have stopped it before it happened. So you know this Lord don't know everything. But he's going on talking about this Lord know everything. That's a lie. Even in this religion, that's a lie. So where was I? Oh, my bad. I went the wrong way. So let me get back to where I was at. Okay. You know everything you're going to ask before you ask him. That's what this is saying. So I brought this out in the Message Bible as well, so it can bring it in a simple form. Pray with simplicity. And when you come before God, don't turn that into a theatrical production. So this is saying when you come before God, don't turn it into some mockery. You know what I mean? Don't turn this into some big show about you. All these people making a regular show out of their prayers, hoping for stardom. Do you think God sits in a box seat? Here's what I want you to do. Find a quiet, secluded place so you won't be tempted to role play before God. Just be as simply and honestly as you can imagine. The focus will shift from you to God, and you will begin to sense his grace. The words is full so-called, what is this? The words is full of so-called prayer warriors, the world. who are praying, who are prayer ignorant. So they say the world is so full of so-called prayer warriors who are prayer ignorant. So every time you have a big prayer line, they say, hey, we got prayer warriors. Want me to put your name on the prayer line? They say right here, these people are prayer ignorant. So you're doing all this big chauvinistic stuff, and you say, hey, we have a prayer line every day. We get on and we pray and we do all that. All you're doing is going along, trying to show people how long-winded you are when you pray. And they say, whoo, Sister Jones, our brother Jacob, Brother John, he prayed a mighty prayer. But it says here, they're prayer ignorant. The people that go on and do it in a chauvinistic manner. They're full of formulas and programs and advice, peddling techniques for getting what you want from God. Don't fall for that nonsense. This is your Father you are dealing with, and he knows better than you what you need. With a God like this, loving you, you can pray very simply like this, okay? That's what that's saying. Now, this is a story about Onan and Judah, and he wanted Onan, I believe, to sleep with his brother. Let's read it. And Judah said unto Onan, go unto thy brother's wife and marry her, and raise up a seed to thy brother. And Onan knew that the seed would not be his. And it came to pass when he went in unto his brother's wife, this means sexual intercourse, that he spilled it on the ground, lest that she should give seed to his brother. And the thing which he did displeased the Lord. Therefore he slew him also. So what this is saying is, Judah said unto Onan, go in there and sleep with your brother's wife, because his brother had got murdered. Give him a seed, give her a seed, so his brother's name can live on. So Onan didn't want to do that. So when he would sleep with her, he would ejaculate on the ground. And when he did that, that made God mad. So God killed him for ejaculating on the ground. He didn't want to have no child with his brother's wife. So this means that God is going ahead and agreeing with incest. Go ahead, that's just your sister-in-law. You give her a baby so his name can live on, this and that. So when that man didn't feel correct, it wasn't morally correct to him. He said, no, you know what, I'm not going to do that. And this so-called God killed him. Again, killed innocent people. Whenever you want to, throw a temper tantrum or a fit. Because when you kill all them people in Noah's Ark, they didn't have nothing to do with the population of giants and all the children that was murdered and other elders and people like that wasn't thinking the evil thoughts. So a lot of times you see, all the time, this God kill innocent people, take it out wrath and kill people right when he want to, just because he want to. Never kill nothing justifiably. So this is the same in the message. So Judah told Onan, go and sleep with your brother's widow. It's the duty of a brother-in-law to keep your brother's line alive. This was their duty. But Onan knew that the child wouldn't be his. So whenever he slept with his brother's widow, he spilled the semen on the ground so he wouldn't produce a child for his brother. God was much offended by what he did and also took his life. This God killed a man because this man wasn't comfortable with doing that. But these is the laws and all that they was up under this God. This is sad. This is the same thing. Excuse the picture, but the information on here, I wanted to read it to you. I don't want you to think I'm trying to have nothing perverted going on. This picture was associated with the slide. In the biblical book of Genesis, the second son of Judah was Onan, after God had killed Onan's older brother. Listen to this. God killed Onan's older brother. This is, okay, let me read that again. In the biblical book of Genesis, the second son of Judah was Onan. After God had killed Onan's older brother, Judah asked Onan to have sexual intercourse with Tamar and impregnate her, the widow of so that the child or Shurim could be declared to be heir. Onan had sex with Tamar, but performed, this is a word, coitus. This is like ejaculate So when he had sex with her, he performed this coitus interruptus, which means he ejaculated, each time spilling his seed or semen on the ground, so that there would not be any offspring which he could not claim as his own. The passage states that this displeased God, who killed Onan as his punishment. This is sad. It go on and say, I guess this is where it come from and all that. So you see this. The man, he didn't want to do nothing like that, so he ejaculated and wasted semen on the ground, but he was soonly murdered by this God, not by a man standing behind, by God for this. Insane. What he did was wicked in the Lord's sight, so he put him to death also. Genesis 38:10. That is sad. God kill up all people on wholesale, just on the open market. So this is the first pictorial of Jesus Christ. What I mean by that is after the Vatican started being built in 1445, and this came about around, I believe, 1498, 1495 and 1498, something to that nature. It was in the 1490s, the 15th century. So who is this white man posing as Jesus Christ? His name is Caesar Borgia, the second son of Pope Alexander VI of Rome. He modeled for the image of the new Jesus Christ, originally painted by Leonardo da Vinci. This is all a fact. So this happened in about the 1490s, the 15th century, late 15th century. Let's see here. And the Lord said unto Moses, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people. Okay, this is when Moses made God be aware of what he was about to do wasn't righteous. Now, therefore, let me alone, that my wrath may wax hot against them, and that I may consume them, and I will make of thee a great nation. He telling Moses, let me kill them people, and I'm going to give you a great nation. And Moses besought the Lord, his God, and said, Lord, why do thy wrath wax hot against people, which thou hast brought out of the land of Egypt with great power and with a mighty hand? He's saying, why are you going to kill him if you just brought him up out of Egypt with this mighty hand? Wherefore should the Egyptians speak and say, for mischief did bring them out to slay them in the mountains, and to consume them from the face of the earth. Turn from that fierce wrath and repent. This is Moses telling this to God now. Turn from thy fierce wrath and repent of this evil against thy people. Remember Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This was Jacob, but they changed the name to Israel. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are the upright ones. They was created by Rashi in the 1090s, somewhere around up in there. They call Sefer HaYasa literature. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The books of the upright ones is what Sefer HaYasa mean. So that means the book of the upright ones. The upright ones is Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So he's telling them, remember these three people, thy servants to whom you swearest by thine own self, and saidest unto them, I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven. He said, I'll give you so many seeds, it'd be the mountain as the stars of heaven. And all this land I have spoken of, I will give unto your seed, and they shall inherit it forever. He said, I give you land and seeds and everything, I promise you. And the Lord repented of the evil which he thought to do unto his people. This is the Lord repenting after Moses, kind of checked him in a way. And the Lord repented of the evil which he had thought to do unto his people. This is his people he getting ready to kill. And Moses went down from the mount And the two tablets of the testimony were in his hands. Tablets were written on both their sides, on the one side and one on the other, were they written. This is when he came down with the Ten Commandments from Mount Sinai. Now, again, this is another picture of the Caesar Borgia. Dude, people keep calling me out my name. My name is Caesar Borgia. I was the son of Pope Alexander Rodrigo Borgia, a gangster, warmonger, greedy, orgy having, running a continuing crime empire, Pope. My dad forged my image on the church and made you worship it ever since 1490, the 15th century. And that's that for that. So you know, I thank y'all for tuning in with me again. I'm come up out of here.